start. Thank you guys for joining us on Diversity Chats, where we bridge the gaps of diversity, destroy ignorance before it destroys another life. I have a friend. Hi, hey, princess. That's her real name, which is the thing. But I have my friend here today, and she's going to be talking with us about her restaurant and her vegan chef and all these other fun things. So I've known you for like a minute since middle school. So so dope to have you on here today. How old were we when we met? Like,
I think, did you see me when I used to run to the bus, when I used to miss the bus? And
I don't remember. I might have been running.
Because I used to almost like miss the bus every morning, and I used to have to run after the bus. So, and I know you stayed like right over in that area. So, okay, maybe you didn't see that part.
I don't know. I might have been late, not even on the bus. The way I went. Yeah, I used to like. I had been like 12 or somewhere around there. So we'll have you on. So let's start with your name. What is? Hold on. Did I do the intro right? I don't know. My name is LaQuisha. This is Diversity Chats, where we bridge the gaps of diversity and
destroy ignorance.
Thank you. I love your days. Diversity for destroys another life. Because I was thinking about how I just want to let you know, like, we're celebrating diversity. It's not necessarily always going to be a talk about diversity as much as these are a diverse collective of people talking about themselves and what they're up to in the world and how they're serving their communities. So, guess if you could please share your name with us.
Okay, my name is Delicia, and I'm with Vibrant Vegan. We are a pop-up shop located in Northwest Ohio. I'm really excited because I relaunched my menu, so I will be opening to the public. We were closed for just about a year. We did a few pop-ups last year, and then we're going to be relaunching everything. So this menu is going to be, I tried to keep it very small, just kind of using like one main dish that I can do several different things with. So, for example, I've got a burger recipe with lentils and the walnuts. So that is my staple. So I have that burger, and then I have like a Western burger that I'm going to do with it. A falafel burger. So that's just kind of like the diversity in that aspect. But as far as veganism, there's a lot of different, I was just thinking last night, I was working on my website, and it's just almost like I want to let my customers know that I'm not just here for vegans. I'm here for everyone. And I think sometimes that vegans get that label that it's like we're some type of group that if you're not 100% vegan, then you can't eat, if you're not going to completely switch over, then you can't try different things and stuff like that. So I disagree. I want to serve as a resource to people that are not just vegans, but that are also looking to transition, looking for like a meatless Monday, just looking for people that have chronic diseases and immune disorders that just need something healthy outside of the stuff that is put out there for us. So I'm super, super excited about launching that. Just because it's something that I'm really passionate about. I am a nurse, and then I do have other things that I'm interested in. But it's something about this, not necessarily just being a vegan, but it's something about wanting to share what I've learned so far and the wonderful recipes that I've learned, and wanting to help other people make that transition, or just, be that resource that I didn't have when I was learning about it.
That's really cool. I love to dive into more about the health aspect of veganism before we get there, or vegan diet. I do want to have you kind of introduce yourself a little further. So, like, where are you from and where are you now?
Well, I'm from Toledo. I was born in Toledo, and then, I lived in Columbus for 13 years. And then I'm back in Toledo, and I've been in Toledo for the last, just about 19 years. So this is where I am now. And this is probably where I'll be for a while. But, this is the base of the business, though. So we'll start from here, and hopefully I would like to expand to other locations.
Very cool. And then another question I always ask my guests is, what ethnic group do you identify as?
Ethnic group, so that would be what, African American? I don't necessarily say African American. I would just say I'm human. I'm melanated. So
human, I like it. And then, if you don't mind sharing your age, how old are you?
Oh, you asked a little deep question. You never supposed to ask a woman her age.
You can ask me whenever. I mean, we're just okay. Go ahead and.
No, you're older than me.
Okay, so then I'm not ashamed. Then you really should be
You're
ashamed.
You're 33, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So
you're a little bit south of 33. Mm-hmm. Is that good?
Yeah.
And so let's get into more about like the vegan lifestyle a little bit. What does it mean to be vegan?
What it means to be vegan is to abstain from meat and dairy products.
Okay. And are you yourself vegan, or do you do like me? I'm like 80% vegan.
I would say I'm about 80% vegan. I was at a place where I was a vegetarian, and then I did what I would call mess up, because I feel like I know better, so I did mess up. But so far, I have not eaten meat. It's been like over a week. So I'm actually doing like a raw vegan thing right now. And I'm like, I'm not supposed to cook any of the food and stuff, and that's kind of the hard part. But yes, I do try to be transparent in my journey and say like, well, yeah, I messed up because, I'm human. I messed up, but at the same time, I can feel the difference in like from the time that, even when I was eating it, I wasn't eating it every day, but I still would partake in it mainly because it was convenient. It's not a lot of options. So for me, it's almost just like I just was hungry. And I let that kind of overreign, what I know and what's right. But for just being, for this week that I haven't had any at all, I can definitely feel the difference in my energy. So.
Do you do like the dehydrating and everything? Like, do you have a machine for that? I know some of the people who are raw vegan, they usually have, well, not usually, but some of them have that.
Well, I haven't, I'm not considered a raw vegan. This is just like, I've only been doing this for a few days, and so I know nothing about the dehydrator yet. But I am interested in it because now that I'm doing this, I'm like, okay, we need more raw vegan places out here too. We need, so I'm excited, and that's kind of why I'm also excited about the business, because I'm hoping that others in the community will see that and start to build, and then we can have more vegan restaurants. So that's what I'm expecting to see around me is, other people starting to realize, okay, we need more healthy options. Let's get out here and create this stuff. Because I know, like, where you stay at, there are so many different options. You know what I mean? It may not seem like that to you because you're there and, you utilize them and you get tired of them. But it's like there are so many different options catered to the vegan lifestyle versus here. It's kind of like you can maybe catch it on the menu, but I'm not a personal fan of the vegan, the processed vegan meat. Certain things, I'm not a fan of. So even though it's vegan, it's not going to catch my attention. It really has to be, a certain way for me. And that's why part of my, my business, part of, one of the main things is that our meat substitutes are made from scratch. So you know exactly what I'm putting in it. and it's plant-based, and it's not any additional chemicals that, because it's not just the animals for not eating meat, but it's also all of the chemicals and fillers and stuff that they put in it. So, and then when you eat vegan processed meat, it's, to me, and I'm not judging anybody, because I've said something on a page before and people jumped on me like, you can't say that. And I'm like, well, I personally just kind of feel like it's not just about eating, not eating meat. I'm taking it to another level, and then I don't want this and that in my body. So we also have to kind of be aware of, it's money to be made in the food industry when people know that, oh, they want to be vegan, and, oh, well, I'll sell this. We don't know what's in that. I mean, so that's just my take on it. So even though we do have a few vegan options here where I'm at, it's not enough, and I would like to see more vegan options.
Yeah, I hear you on that process thing. Like, I don't know what it is. I thought it was the soy, but there's something in like the processed, like beef looking vegan bites that you would use in like a sloppy Joe or something to make shredded ground beef for. They have like a vegan option, and that stuff makes me tired. Like it knocks me out, and food shouldn't do that, because if you're eating good, it's actually fueling you, So I from like processed, like questionably processed. Like obviously if you put it in a food processor, it's processed, but when I'm talking about like additives and like what is that kind of thing? Like I know what a carrot is, I know what beans are, I know what rice is, I know what quinoa is, but when they start adding other things, that I'm like, what is that word? And why am I on that? What is it like? Like what is the food like in Toledo, Ohio?
You said, what is the food like?
Like the food scene. Like I don't know if that's a term around there.
Well, Toledo is a lot smaller than Columbus. So kind of like, we have options here, but I just kind of feel like things are a lot slower. So while veganism has taken, restaurants and things like that are growing other places, it's very, to me, it just kind of seems very slow here. That's almost like Chipotle, for example. So, I don't know if you remember, it was almost like about 15 years ago I came down, and I think we did a few things. It was a short brief time that I was there. And I went to Chipotle for the first time with Shay. So that was whatever time. It didn't even get here until like 5 years later. You know what I mean? So like slow like that. Like it'll happen. But it's going to take some time for people to kind of get used to, this is the new wave and this is why we're doing it. We do have the issues with the coronavirus and wanting to keep your immune system up and to be healthy. So I think this is a really good time to market, let people know this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it. And hopefully other people will, I'll kind of challenge other people to say, well, I can do it too. And then I can have somewhere else to go and eat. So that's my goal.
I feel you on that. I love that you're doing it. Thank you on behalf of everybody who gets to partake, because when I used to work in the mall, they had a whole bunch of like restaurants, but it wasn't anything I felt like was safe for me to eat. So I kind of wanted something more clean. And so I value, what you're doing for sure. And I'm curious if you could speak a little bit about the health element of, or the benefits of eating more clean. I kind of like, just like as a side note, I separate plant-based versus vegan. And I would just say that like plant-based is more healthy than vegan, because it's not processed, confusing things, and plant-based isn't like Oreos and stuff, because Oreos are vegan. So just people watching, like, I do know there's a difference, but like we're obviously speaking of more clean version of vegan eating, a more healthy when it comes to, I've seen a couple documentaries. So I watched What the Hell. I don't know.
I still haven't seen that yet.
And like Forks Over Knives and What's With Wheat. I watched that one, What's With Wheat, and then I watched one. I can't think of what it's called. It was on Netflix, and it was about people who had like chronic diseases and stuff, and like they switched to a vegan diet, and they didn't have to take as much medication. So I'm curious if you could speak a little bit about some of the health benefits of changing your diet to a more, vegan, or giving yourself some space away from red meat a little bit, like you said, meatless Mondays and such.
Okay. Well, first I want to say that for me, I have to just kind of touch on my own personal journey. I was that vegan. I was eating Oreos. So, but in the process, I was not getting the nutrients and minerals and iron and all of that stuff that you need. So I think that's very important for people to know that once they decide however they transition, however they decide to do it, it's so important to make sure that, yes, the processed stuff is convenient, but at the same time, you do want to be more towards a plant-based diet so that you can get the proper things that these type of foods are going to give you, because it's not in the processed foods. So then once you're actually eating a sufficient plant-based healthy diet, there's many, many benefits. Definitely lots of more energy. As far as the colon, so meat and dairy sits in the colon for months, if not years at a time. So when you're eating this stuff, I mean, it's literally just like rotten stuff sitting in your colon. And overall, on a, overall well-being level, there's nothing healthy about that. I try not to go into the spiritual aspects of it, but it's just not clean. We know that God created every living thing. So these animals that are dying, they're being sacrificed, and then we're eating, well, not necessarily but I'm just saying people will eat these animals. And on a cellular level, you have to think about, okay, this animal lived its life in fear. It was subject to pain and torture. So now when this animal is eating, all of those things that animal felt on a spiritual level is being ingested. Not just the physical aspect and the fact that it's rotting in our bodies. So it does help to, when we do have dead food in the body, it does take up a lot of oxygen from our cells. So when you're not eating dead and processed foods, it allows for your body to have more oxygen. And then also, I want to touch on the cholesterol, and that's a big thing because, our bodies are almost like a plumbing system. Not just when we drink and things come out, but when we breathe air in, that gives oxygen to our red blood cells. So when our red blood cells are constantly trying to release and get rid of all the things that it needs to get rid of in the body, if the cells, or not the cells, but if the arteries are congested with cholesterol, then that makes the heart have to work harder to clean to pump the blood, to clean the body, and whatever other mechanisms that it does. In the process, if that one organ has to work harder, then the rest of the organs have to work harder. And that's how we have so many people overweight and with chronic health diseases, because it's all in the diet. So one thing that I always try to tell people is that there's two types of pharmacies. There's Man's Pharmacy, which has, all of the stuff that we know. We see it all the time at the pharmacy. And then there's God's Pharmacy, which is FARMACY. And this pharmacy has all the plants, all the herbs, all the vegetables that we need already in Earth's resources. But this is the pharmacy that we want to go to when we have things that we need to heal within our body, because it's all in the diet.
It's so awesome how God created these healing properties in food. I don't know, but if I don't feel well, I'm like, what can I eat? what can I eat? Because like it can really reset your body to eat the right thing. Unfortunately, I was like a season of depression for a few years, so I like was all over crack in the box, as I call it. It's Jack in the Box, I call it crack, because it's like it's addictive, and it was all this kicking and stuff, and it's like you start thinking about all these things that are like tied into it, all these fillers and stuff. That stuff is just not good for the body, and it like it messed me up. So I'm glad that, thankfully, answered prayer. I don't really eat out that much, and I definitely don't eat crack in the box, like McDonald's and all that stuff. Not to like hate on anybody that does, but like the other thing about your diet is always, and when I say diet, I just mean what you're eating. It's important to know what works for your body, right? Mm-hmm. And like that's why I never like push anything on anybody. I love that we're having this chat because it people to the option. Like you said, like maybe just one day out of the week, you try it, see what happens, see how your body responds. I think your body will love it, and you will want to do it. But you never try. You never know if you don't try. So hopefully, people will give it a go. And let me see. I do have another question. Did you already speak on this? Like why you chose a vegan diet?
Oh, no, I didn't speak on it. So I chose a vegan diet because, I'm sorry, I think my daughter's playing some music. It kind of just threw me off. So I chose a vegan diet because, one of my daughters passed away. She had a brain tumor. So after she passed away, hold on. Can you turn that down, please? Okay. So one of my daughters died from a brain tumor. And I just kind of, when I began to pray, I asked God, why is this happening? Why are children dying? Because on that cancer unit, it was not just Ava. It was so many different families that had, were going through it. And so many children that are still going through it right now. So then my great aunt, my grandmother's sister, she got cancer. And this was her third time getting cancer. And I'm like, what do you say to somebody who keeps getting cancer? What can I say as a comfort? Mm-hmm. So I had came across this information about the foods and stuff that we eat. And I had looked a little bit more into it. And I was, still never watched What the Health and all that. Just kind of like, just watched a few things that... not very long, but just some things that kind of helped me to understand that it's through the diet. So I took her a lot of fruits and vegetables over to her house, and I was basically preaching to her, like, you need to eat this, you need to eat that, you need to throw this out. So something was like, well, why don't you do it? Why don't you practice what you preach? So from there, I started like a meatless Monday at my house.
Okay.
So at the time, it was, it was something new because the members of my household were looking at me like, I would have to cook 2 different dinners because I was set on, I'm not eating meat tonight. I'll still cook it for my family, but I still, made the option to try something different. So in this process of me trying something different and trying to have days without, not eating any meat and stuff like that, I'm like, where are the options? Where can I go? Like, I would love right now to go somewhere and get a vegan burger, not with all the, the processed stuff, but just somewhere I can go and get some good vegan food, clean, gluten-free, like to have that ultimate health experience. They do kind of have some of those options that some of the restaurants here, like I started to go to Core Life Eatery. I went there like a year and a half ago. And now I'm back because now I'm trying to do the raw thing. But, so yeah, in my transition, I'm like, it'd be really nice if I just came up with my own thing and did my own thing. And then like people, family members are looking at me like, okay, because that's not, they don't see what I see. So, and I'm like, okay, so that's where my heart is. And no matter what other things I try to do in my life, I kind of feel like this is what keeps calling me back, is to do this. And then once I get this project together. I have other projects that I want to do. I actually learned that my name means good food in Spanish. So I definitely want to even maybe do something with my name down the line. But yeah.
Wow, that's really exciting. And what a journey to arrive at outcome, because tragedy and with difficulty, sometimes we might go to the wrong thing. But I love that you turn to something healthy and constructive, and not just for yourself, or even just for your household, but for people beyond that. So thank you for adding the world around you. We come to about our 30 minutes, so I'm going to do my closing. And then if you have any encouragement you want to share with anyone, please do share. Anything else that we didn't talk about that you want to touch bases on. But we just want to thank everybody who tuned in today and who will tune in later to watch us here on as we bridge the gaps in diversity and destroy ignorance before it destroys another life. And I definitely want to thank my special guest, my friend Delicia. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And did you have anything else to share before we close?
No, I just want to thank you for having me. This was so sweet of you. And thank you because, it's not, I really don't have a lot of people, friends that I can talk to about veganism that will actually understand, so it's just so nice that you're part of the veganism trend, not the trend, you're part of the veganism. I kind of want to say like solution, or like, you're part of that. We're part of it. So that's a good thing because we're smart.
No shade, no shade. Yeah, that's really, I'm so honored that you joined me. It's good space. I haven't seen you in a long time, so
I'm coming back to California because I'm coming back. So I know it's just kind of like, man, I miss my friends because, having to move away from people and stuff. So it's like, we're still friends. I'm just not where you're at. Oops.
Yeah, definitely still friends if I haven't chatted with you in a while. We were talking like we did. I just talked last week. So that's beautiful. I appreciate your friendship and much success to you for your business. I'd love to see you out here in Cali one day soon. So stay healthy. Keep it up. Doing good.
All right. Thank you. See you later. Okay. Bye-bye.